One, thank y'all for being here. I feel like our summer went as expected as what we wanted it to be from a development standpoint. We did have almost 50% roster turnover. So everything that we did in the spring, there was a lot of reteaching because of who we lost through from that standpoint. But I do like the group of people that we brought in and added to that our team that was already here. Felt like that they have connected in a great way, and that they've helped us get closer, and they're buying into what we want to have as far as our culture and the way we want to do things. And today, from here till the first game, we're trying to, one, build the identity of who we want to be, integrate those new guys, and see how far they've come through the summer. Can they help us this year, or will they be able to help us at some point? That's the plan. And then, we're laying our foundation for wanting to be a Conference USA champion and ultimately being a CFP. That's our ultimate goal. That's our big vision, and that's not something that's going to come easy. Our team knows that, and our focus is on doing what champions do every day, not focusing on trying to win a championship, but doing what champions do. And if we can do those things, then those championships will come.
Coach, as you enter fall camp, how different is it for you now, year one here on the job?
Well, it's a lot cooler than I'm used to. I think it's like 60 degrees out here. So normally by now it'd be 90. So, it's still, you still get excited. You still get nervous, butterflies, and so I think that's great, because if I lose those and you coaches lose those, you probably don't need to be in it. So there's still some nervousness, a new team, and this is the first time that 100 and we got 100 and whatever we have that are going through a fall camp with us. So it's brand new for them, even though a lot of those guys have been through 3 or 4 fall camps, and some of them has been through, this is their first one. This is brand new for all of us, and so all of our coaches are nervous, excited. We had a good day of meetings yesterday, laying out what we want, and we're looking forward to seeing how we develop.
From a health standpoint, where is this team coming into fall camp?
Pretty good. We did have some injuries during the summer. We lost 2 receivers in the summer to knee injuries that will be out for the season. Reese Smith, lost him during the summer, and Victor Jones, so they're both out. I did lose them. So far, besides that, from a scholarship standpoint, that's the guys that we have lost from that. The rest of the team is relatively healthy.
Coach, when you woke up this morning, what was your feeling? Are you excited, anxious, nervous, ready to get going?
I think it's more so we've put a lot of work into having the plan. There is some nervousness. I think anxious is, if you're anxious, the anxiety comes from not being prepared. I think we are prepared. I think there's a nervousness just to see how the team responds, because it is a lot of new players. But more so just wanting to see how they actually look in helmets, and then what eventually get to pads. Everybody looks good in shorts. I had a coach when I was in college say, hey, you're the best shorts player in America. And then once you put pads on, it's a lot different. So we're excited about just being out there for the first time.
What positional group are you most confident in entering this training camp?
Probably the offensive line on offense. Feel pretty good about that. And then, that's about where we're at right now.
Speaking of the receivers, got a couple of injuries there. Do you feel like you have enough pieces there, enough bodies there going into this season?
We've got I think some guys that have contributed, not a lot, and I think just seeing how they improve throughout these next 3 weeks are going to be big, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. Right now, none of us on our staff know when it's third down who's the guy to go to. None of us know that. First and second down, that's fine, but when it's third down and there needs to be a play made, who's going to do it? That's the biggest question mark I think we have right there at receiver. We definitely have some guys there. Will they be willing and able and have the mental fortitude to take that next step when the pressure's on? That's going to be the biggest challenge, and that's what we're going to try to put them in through the next 3 weeks.
You feel like you have some guys in that tight end room that can kind of help fill the void too?
Yeah, I like our tight end group. You know, I think there's some good, solid players in there. We have a freshman that we're really excited about, Bo Burklow. We'll see what he does in his first camp. But there's some guys there that had a good spring, and also that have played a lot of football.
Coach, you mentioned the butterflies and excitement of camp, but I feel like every team hits a point where the grind catches up. Is there anything unique that you and the staff do to get past and push past that, grind factor or just tiredness? And
Well, I think you're always trying to find ways. We talked about yesterday how to still try to make it fun. This is the part that there's fun in winning, and there's fun in getting ready to play a game. So the next 3 weeks, all we're doing is hitting each other. So there is a mundane to it, and so we'll have different things that we will attempt. I'll put attempt to do throughout the next 3 weeks, next 25 practices to connect our guys in a way that takes away some of maybe the physical pain that they're going through and the physical toil. A lot of things at night that we'll do. We will finish with like a talent skit show, and everybody that's new has to do that, including coaches. And so that might make social media, it might not. We'll let y'all know if it does. But there's some things that we will try to do to still have some fun with. But also, this is the time that you have to build with your team. You have to build that mental fortitude to be able to push through challenging times, and so there's a fine balance with that.
Coach, first of all, my name is Jermaine Farrell. It's a pleasure to meet you finally, first time.
Yeah, Jermaine, nice seeing you.
I got to ask you overall, obviously there's a grind with this football season. What are some of the things you like doing basically not only during the season away from football, but also during the off season?
Just truthfully, anything that my kids are a part of, and I'm not much of a golfer. I can hit it, but it won't go straight, so I don't like doing that. I found out that I'm probably a pretty good pickleball player. I'm a great 2-on-2 water basketball player. I beat Joe, so just let him know that. At his house, beat him bad. But I enjoy spending time with family, traveling, and I'm a food guy. So I like to try different foods and things of that nature. So,
And Coach, obviously, first year in the conference, and it's been a while since Liberty been in the conference since the Big South. And with your experience at Coastal, competing for a conference championship, this program's gone to bowls and all that. But just how big is it for this program to have an opportunity to compete for a conference championship at the FBS level?
I think it's arguably one of the biggest decisions that our university made to be able to go into that, and that's allowed us to have a place at the table that we have an opportunity to earn. Right, never had that before. No matter how great seasons or bowl game wise, you don't have that access, and now that we do, I think that's going to help this program grow exponentially. The biggest challenge that our program will face is being FBS for 4 years and not being in a conference, not understanding you're getting everybody's best shot every week. There's going to be a target on Liberty's back, and maybe we've never had that before, except probably in the Big South. That's a long time. None of these guys have ever experienced that. And being in a conference, the grind of that each week and what it takes to try to win that. That's going to be something that our team has to grow through and understand. We've talked a lot about that as a staff with our team, is understanding what it takes each week to try to win a conference championship. But that is a huge deal, and thankful that we are in one.
And real quick, we ask one more. When you look at the schedule, coming up in October, you got a lot of Thursday and Tuesday games. So how are you guys going to try to handle that? What's the roadmap and plan with that? Because that's kind of unique to play. It won't be too many Saturday games in the month of October. You're playing on Thursdays and Tuesdays.
Yeah, 0 games in Saturday. But the great thing about that is we're on national television for that whole month, right? And so everybody across this country that might not know about Liberty, they're going to learn about Liberty. Now we got to do our job and try to win some games too. One, that is a great opportunity to brand this program and brand this university. Two, it is unique, but at the end of the day, if you ask a player if you want to play at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday morning and you're on national television, you'll play on Saturday and you're not, they're going to pick 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning. So that's what they work for, is to be able to opportunity to play on national television. And we'll work the schedule around to try to make our Tuesday feel like a Saturday and all those things, and we'll have to adjust that. But the opportunity to do those things and be able to put this conference out in the spotlight, and obviously our university in the spotlight is tremendous for us.
As far as the quarterback battle, when do you plan to make that decision, want to make that decision? What are the I would say, one or two most important factors into making that decision?
Well, we want to make it, going into the week before the first game. I'd like to have 8 practices with, hey, this is who we've established as a starter. So whoever earns that job, hopefully they will, they've got about 15 to 17 practices to do that, and so that would get us to August 23rd or 23rd, 22nd, somewhere around in there. Give us 8 practices to prepare for our first opponent. And the person that wins that job will be the one that's consistent day in and day out, and then takes care of the football and doesn't put us in bad plays. We might not be great, but if we can take care of the ball and keep it away from the other people, then we'll have a chance to win games. We're not going to ask them to have to do anything extravagant, just play within the system that we give them, and then who's confident each day. Right, what we've noticed the time we've been here, there's some guys, they can make some good plays, and then if there's a bad play, it's like the world falls apart. And we've got to, we're continuing to work on that. It's just being consistent. That's going to be who will win the job. Will be that.
Coach, we have a few joining us online. Go ahead, Dave.
Coach, Dave Walls from ABC 13. You mentioned the amount of turnover that you've had from the roster from last year. How much of an impact has the transfer portal and the players who have come through that made throughout camp so far here in the offseason? And where do you see them competing the most? Is there a particular position group?
Well, we through the summer, there's been some good additions for that. I think that you'll see some depth from an offensive line standpoint. We got some guys there. Linebacker-wise, there's going to be some young men that will have an opportunity to contribute from there that we brought in the portal. And then running back-wise, that's the 3 areas that I think you'll see that people that we brought in will contribute in some form or fashion. There might be some starters in that group, but definitely some people that will play, at least through the summer. Now, we'll see once they get pads on here. But that's the areas that we really tried to focus on to improve. And I'm hoping that once we get to game 1, those guys will really have taken that next step so they can produce on the field.
And one more question. I had asked you this during your introduction back in, I guess, December now. It's been, you've been on this field at Liberty University even back in your days when you were at Charleston Southern, and now you're actually wearing the red, and now you're getting closer to that first game day. Is the excitement kind of building for you? And so far, what's this experience been like now seeing the sideline from this side? Well,
anytime you're undefeated, it's great, Dave, and we're undefeated right now. And so as we get closer to the game, that anticipation will build. But as a coach, what you try to do is every thought that I have is about building the program. It's not necessarily about, hey, what's best for this team this year. It's about what's best for this program to make it solid foundation so it can build and be a consistent winner over the long term. That's I chose to come here not for hey, I'm gonna use this and jump here. I could have gone a lot of places, but I believe in the mission of this university and want to be part of building this at a conference level and ultimately trying to get to that CFP. So thankful for being here and excited about what we can build here.
One last question for you.
Thank you.
Coach, with the position outside of quarterback, where are the other main position battles that you're keeping an eye on here?
Wide receiver is a big one now with the losses that we had there. I think corner secondary, there's some corner areas up for grabs. Who's going to be the starters there? We're going to play a lot of people, but who's actually going to be the starter? And then defensive line, we've got an opportunity there. You rotate a lot of D-line, but we've got some guys there that are talented, that are young. I'm anxious to see how they impact up there. Are they pushing some people for more playing time and some of those? I think that'll be the biggest 3. And then lastly, from that offensive line standpoint, what's that depth chart end up looking like? With some of the guys that we brought in that have had experience.